one of the first songs that we really worked on was the song "The Suburbs." I got an email from an old friend that we grew up with in the suburbs of Houston, and he sent a picture of him with his daughter on his shoulders at the mall, kind of around the corner from where we used to live. And it was kind of the combination of kind of seeing this familiar place and seeing my friend with his child, and it just kind of really brought back a lot of feeling kind of from that time. And so I found myself really trying to remember the town that we grew up in and trying to retrace as much as I could remember, and we started working on that song, and I feel like once that kind of started to sound like music, it started to feel like we were making an album. Yeah, I've been living in Montreal for almost 10 years now, and it just kind of felt like I needed to reconnect with that feeling a little bit of Houston, and kind of before it was gone, to try and kind of get it down before it was too far away to be able to conjure. You know, it's like if a movie comes out that you're really excited about, and the trailer tells you everything about the movie, and you go and the making of, and you know about the financing of it, and you know about the fight that the main actor had with the co-star, and it kind of that's the immediate context stuff that makes it hard to like really enjoy a piece of art. It's always this stuff when you go with a really low expectation and you're like, oh, this is gonna suck, that really blows your mind. You know, yeah, I mean, I think that it's fun to be excited about something.
Yeah.
And it's not like everyone needs to be excited about our album, but for people who are excited about it, I think that it's a kind of a special little moment too.
We just want the initial aesthetic shock to come from the actual art that we've produced. You know, I think we're trying to make it so that people experience what we do through what we care about what we do. We care about the music we make and the shows we put on, and we would much rather people experience what we do through that than through any of the periphery or anything. Though that, I think the periphery is very interesting and very useful, but for the initial experience, it can sometimes ruin the initial experience of if you read an author as an asshole and then you read the book differently than if you just read the book and it was amazing. And then you read and you're like, oh, it's pretty good for an asshole.
I think our approach has always been to try, it's not across the board, but the kind of goal is to like really capture something real in a performance, and then to also be able to take that core and do whatever you want with it, whether that is not a lot or a lot, and to have that kind of freedom. And it's sometimes torturous process. Like I know, it was actually really comforting when we were recording. I found Ed O'Brien from Radiohead kept journals when they were making Kid A, and I went back and read those, and it read pretty similar to our day-to-day routine. It's like, it's the simplest song on the album, has guitars and drums, and we just finished it, and it took us 2 years, and it's exactly the same things that were on the bed track recording, you know what I mean?
And we're cutting it from the album.
We're cutting it from the album, like there's a lot of, that's the downside of having time and freedom, is that, no man should have that much freedom.
Yeah. There's like really, to me, there's like really two ways to get to the absolute of the music. Is either it's really spontaneous and you just have to capture it because it's there now and it won't be there next take. And the other one is you have to think.
It's more the orchestration
model.
Orchestration,
it's not that second. It's the one after, and it's not that note, and it's this one. And so there's like these two these two ways to get at it that I think it's really interesting to try to always find which way.
I remember when we were
processing
making Neon Bible, the guy who helped us with the orchestral stuff was Arvo Part's son, and he was saying that, like with his dad's music, because there's all these different orchestras recording, and some of them are just horrible, and it's all the same music, it's all written exactly the same, and some of them are just unlistenably bad, and some of them are like the most beautiful things you've ever heard, and just as even just like when everything's written, it's like piano forte, and at this exact second, there's still so much room for things to be different. I think that's true in rock music too. It's not the easiest to relate to. I'm not a big list person, unless it's like, what's your favorite restaurant in New York? I could give you some lists on food, but like, which of the Godfather movies do you like the best?
No, we definitely don't think about it that often. It's more like a, haha, that's funny.
Yeah.
or whoa,
Yeah.
like
It's like we just played a show in Longueuil that we threw together, and 8,000 people came. It was like, haha, that's funny. It's funny that we did like a free semi-secret show and
8,000
almost
people.
10,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, aw shucks. But you don't, never really, it's great.
You
But
can't
we never-
control
we don't
this
try to-
anyway,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I mean, there really are a lot of things that you really have no control over.
yeah.
And I think that we've been very fortunate. I mean, we've been able to kind of navigate it. We were very lucky to be left to our own devices and to have the opportunity to make Funeral in a real studio and to really be able to achieve what we were trying to achieve. And then it's kind of afforded us a certain amount of control over our own destiny, which a lot of the bands that are my heroes didn't either never got or got really late in their careers, just because the times were different. So in that, even though the music industry is crumbling and everything, we've always felt very fortunate, just because we're, what else do you want? I mean, we're making records the way we want to make records, and yeah, it's a great position to be in. I think that we're a great live band, and I think that the live, like trying to connect to people and that's really foundational into why we make music, and I don't mean that in a what do you want us to write songs about kind of way, but this is what our song's about, and trying to to actually communicate. And I do think that I think that, even if you're making like shoegazing music, I still think it has to aspire to communicate with on the level that you're trying to communicate. So I guess I would just say don't be, don't do what we do, but try and really connect to what you want to say, and then try and.
But I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it is different for everyone.
It,
but
it depends on what type of band and what they want out of what they're doing.
I mean, our original great piece of luck is that the music we want to make is fairly accessible in terms of the range of music that can be made. It's not straight up pop music, but we're more on the pop side of things, and that's what we're inspired by and what we want to make. And so there's lots of music I love that's, crazy, weird, noisy electronic music that they're making the best music and they're putting all their heart into it, and it's very successful in its realm. And I think that is just as important. I mean, I think that'll live
Or
for
folk
just as long
music.
as anything we do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the last 6 months has been pretty laser beam, you know. I think coming out of the time off, there's a, you know, there's a coming back together thing, but it's been really great playing live shows again, and like the more levels that we have to kind of connect to the music, and I mean, it's just a lot of people in the band, a lot of relationships, and I just even think just in groups of friends, I think that there's always like a give and take in terms of friendships and trying to be a good friend, and so none of that really goes away when you're working together. But we all love each other a lot, and you know we're you know trying to, and it's been just really. It's really cool to start to play again and to like really feel that energy coming back, because I do think it's really special. Like we really are a band, and there's something really special that happens when we play together, and I think that's evident, you know. I really think that the kind of Red Cross in the aftermath of a major disaster of that magnitude, it really has to be emergency relief organizations, because it even still now is really an emergency situation where you have 1 million people living in tents, and just the sanitation problems and everything are so insane. But I mean, what's unique about Partners in Health is that they have such a long-term vision. And
strategy.
And there's kind of strategy, and they've been engaged for so long, and they will be engaged for so long, that, you know, Haiti has a pretty bad history of people, like Western people, wanting to help and doing more harm than good.
Coming and leaving.
And so I think that it really be directed by Haitians, and really be helping Haitians be able to help themselves and kind of build their own thing is extremely important. And
I mean, that's the only way.
so yeah, we're still just looking for any way we
way
can
to-
help with that work, because it's really, really good work.
Yeah.